Welcome to Section 11, Command Line Arguments. So far, our Python programs have relied only on the input function to get data. However, real-world scripts may need to receive initial configuration or data directly when the program starts, without having to wait for the user to type something. 1. What is the command line? The command line, or terminal, is a text-based interface used to execute programs and manage files. When you run a Python script from the command line, you type Python 3 followed by the file name. 2. Defining arguments. Command line arguments are simply the additional pieces of information you pass to your program after the file name. They allow external systems or users to instantly configure the script. For example, here we are passing the words hello and world as arguments. 3. The sys module. In Python, these command line arguments are accessed using the built-in sys module. Specifically, we use sys.argv, which stands for argument vector. The sys.argv variable is a list that contains all the command line tokens. To summarize, you may use command line arguments to make Python scripts more flexible. The key tool for accessing them is the sys.argv list. Our next lecture 11.02. Command line arguments. See you there. Welcome back. In this lecture, we will demonstrate how to read and interpret the command line arguments using the sys.argv list. Understanding the structure of this list is the first critical step in processing external data. 1. The structure of sys.argv. When a Python script is executed with arguments, the sys.argv variable is populated as a standard Python list of strings. The key point is that the element at index 0 is always the name of the script itself, and the actual user-provided arguments start from index 1. 2. Accessing arguments and length. Since sys.argv is a list, we can use standard list operations on it. We can get the total count of arguments, including the script name, using the len function. We can also access any individual argument using its index, like accessing sys.argv at index 1 for the first user argument. 3. Iterating through arguments. To process all the actual user arguments, we use a for loop that specifically slices the list, starting from index 1 up to the end. This ensures we skip the script name and only deal with the passed-in data. To summarize, think of sys.argv as a list of strings where the script name is always the first item. Remember to check the length of the list before trying to access any arguments to prevent an index error. Our next lecture 11.03. Command line arguments in VS Code. See you there. Welcome back. While running command line arguments from the terminal is straightforward, developers often use an integrated development environment like VS Code for convenience and debugging. Running scripts within VS Code's debugger requires a special configuration to pass those arguments. 1. Creating launched.json. To control how VS Code runs your script, you need a configuration file named launch.json. To generate this file, you may follow my following steps. 2. Adding the args parameter. Inside the launch.json file, locate the configuration block for running Python. To pass arguments, you must add an array property named args. This array holds the arguments exactly as they would appear after the script name in the terminal. Remember, the program file name is automatically handled by the system and does not need to be included in the args list. 3. Execution and sys.argv. When you run your script using the VS Code debugger with this configuration, sys.argv at index 1 will be argument 1, sys.argv at index 2 will be 100, and so on. This effectively bypasses the need to type arguments every time in the terminal, especially when debugging. To summarize, the launched.json file provides a repeatable way to inject command line arguments into your Python script. Our next lecture 11.04. Product of command line arguments. See you there. Welcome to our final program for the command line arguments section. We will now write a utility script that accepts an unknown number of integers as command line arguments and calculates their product. This combines something we've learned about sys.argv, iteration, and data type conversion. 1. Initialization and data access. We must first import the sys module. We initialize a variable product to 1, as multiplying by 0 would always result in 0. Next, we check if any arguments were provided, as our script must have input to work. Two, iteration and type conversion. This is the crucial step. We loop over the sys.argv list, starting from index 1. Remember, all command line arguments are received as strings. We must convert each argument to an integer using the int function before we can perform multiplication. Three, final result. After the loop completes, the product variable holds the result of multiplying all the input numbers. We print the final value to the console. To summarize, this program is an example about command line processing. You access arguments via sys.argv, loop over the data starting at index 1, and always remember to convert the arguments from strings to the required numeric type. This concludes our section on command line arguments. Our next section 12. Functions. Our next lecture 12.01. Introduction. See you there.